Hey there everyone, my name is Luke and welcome to my channel. Now, as promised in an earlier community post, I'd have my friend over from Australia who's here on my left. This is James, if you want to say hello.
G'day everyone, my name's James and I'm from Australia. I'm a fellow astrophotographer and become quite friendly with Luke over the past few months, and here I am in the UK and been lucky enough to come and visit him.
Can't say fairer than that. And it's not like you really needed me to tell you that he's the Australian. I mean, he's tanned, good looks, and the accent as well. Oh, it's all gone south for me, boys. Anyway, as I mentioned, we're meant to be doing kind of a question and answer and a little bit of an interview with an Aussie astronomer, if you like. And so that's what this is going to be. It's kind of the end of the evening for us now. I thought we'd just record this now. The lips have been loosened by a little bit of beer and stuff.
Yeah.
Well greased and ready. It's
been a ball, mate. It's been an absolute ball.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you, mate. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, without really any ado, let's get to it, I guess, mate. So there are a few questions, and I think we should probably start with some of those, and then just have a little chat if you like. So,
absolutely.
Let's have a quick look. These earlier questions, this is of course totally raw, so you'll forgive me for any minor pauses, but so Simon's Astro, let's have a look. You were asking about your Instagram account. Do you have any images? And I linked to that in the main post for anybody who wants to see more of James's work. And he also mentions, how did I get to know him, as he's from Australia? So and he also added, is there any image that he would like to photograph here in the UK if he had the chance? So if you want to answer that part first.
Basically, I do have an Instagram account, and that's predominantly where I do put a lot of my images up. I don't have a website or anything as such, but just James R. Baguley, that's my Instagram account, and I'm sure you can find me if you follow Luke on Instagram. You'd be able to find me off that if you'd like to. It's been quite an eye-opener coming here, and we've been lucky enough to get a clear sky tonight, and seeing the Big Dipper in Polaris is quite a eye-opener.
We take it for granted, of course. So
I know.
It's an
trying to polar align in the southern hemisphere, it's a bit more of a task than it is for you guys. But
clear sight to Polaris for me.
Absolutely, but northern hemisphere objects, I image at 1,000 millimeters with my telescope, and the California nebula that Chloe's actually been imaging tonight, that is quite something. So
just kind of off camera there, Chloe's got her rig running actually as we speak. So
sort of doing it all tonight. But look, M81 and M82 are pretty fabulous galaxies that I really wish I'd be able to get my hands on down there. But look, we've got our fair share of amazing objects down our way.
I think that's putting it lightly.
But look, it's so funny coming up here and you're seeing the sky, everything's upside down and moves differently, and I had out stellarium and everything earlier on, and I was like, trying to orientate myself. But
one of the first things you mentioned is that Ryan's upside down. These things just don't pop into your head, really, I guess.
That's it. But it's great to see all this. But I'd say Bodes and M81, Cigar Galaxy, are two pretty awesome objects. Andromeda is one, but if I go up to northern part of Australia, Andromeda is possible.
It's fantastic target. I mean, and as to how did I get to know James, we were basically just introduced through a common friend, David Moulton. He's a fantastic astrophotographer, and he's been a friend of us both for a while, and then just introduced us via emails. And before you know it, we clicked. Then here we are having a drink together.
Here we are, on the phone to Lukey, helping me set up a few things, and asking for some help, which he's always happy to do. That's the kind of bloke he is.
Thank you, mate.
And just here we are. I was off coming to the UK and said we've got to meet up, so we did, and haven't we made an evening of it?
We have indeed, mate. It's been fantastic.
Absolutely, it's been fantastic.
Right, let's jump on to another question. Just a moment. So, is guiding more difficult for you in a hotter climate, as there's probably more turbulence and convection to deal with due to that more energetic air, I guess, from temperature?
Who's that from?
This one's from Steve Billam, Astro.
Yeah, g'day, Steve. No, I wouldn't say that at all. Mind you, our summer that we've just had wasn't really a summer at all. So, yeah, I've been sort of sidelined with the whole thing for the last few months, unfortunately. But no, it's not a problem. I mean, if you live in a dark enough sky or have the ability to go to a dark enough sky, there's no issue at all. It's fine. So
no real problems then.
No,
It's fair enough.
No issue.
It's
yeah.
a good question.
Very good question.
Ollie's Astro. It's got a kind of a multi-part question, I think, but mainly, what do you feel the major differences are up here as to like southern hemisphere imaging?
I guess it all depends on location, really. If you're lucky to have a good field of view of wherever you're located, that's a big plus. Yeah, I don't know, as we were mentioning before, seeing Orion upside down, like, I don't know, I feel I'm in a lucky enough part of the world where you get some of these objects that you guys get, but are just at a longer period and sort of higher in the sky. But then again, you've got other objects that are much, better placed in the
exclusive
sky
to each
exactly
hemisphere,
they're and they are, each is exclusive, has its own exclusive object. And
I thought it were interesting you mentioned how much higher Orion gets for you.
Yeah,
so we were kind of just pointing it out roughly visually in the sky to me tonight, and it was kind of a bit mind-blowing to think of Orion getting that much higher, because I'm just used to seeing it from this location, which it's always been in right from the start of my
100%,
astronomy career. So
yeah, absolutely.
the idea of it changing, it's obviously it does, but it's just something that doesn't really pop straight into your mind.
Yeah, well, seeing the Big Dipper and Ursa Major and all that, it's like,
as soon as you saw it,
I was just like, holy, jeez, there it is. And then Polaris, I'm like, it's a really cool thing.
I feel like he mentions another part of his question here, does Ollie, where I've noticed many UK astrophotographers are very reluctant to leave the gear out running, and he's absolutely right with that, with me at the very least.
Yeah.
I really can't go to sleep, not just through fear of kind of theft or anything like that, because it's a real issue, but it's more just weather's so changing here in the UK. Anybody with images from it probably knows what it's like to have to rush everything back inside because it's all getting rained on at the same time, where, as I imagine in Australia, it's probably a little bit more...
Look, to be honest with you, I wouldn't set my gear up or plan on imaging for a night if I knew it wasn't going to be like clear all night.
Yeah.
So...
I'm having to do that anyway now with bigger telescope.
Yeah.
I just don't want to set up for a short
I know,
session.
like, the bigger the telescope is, the harder the work it is to set up. So, it's... I wouldn't bother setting up. If it wasn't going to be clear for at least 3/4 of the night, I wouldn't even bother. Obviously rain, if I knew that was coming, wouldn't bother doing it. The thing we do get where I'm from, or if I go to my dark sky site, is dew and frost. And as long as you've got I made a makeshift sort of dew shield out of a foam camping mattress, and it sticks out probably a good 300 millimeters at least, and that does the job just fine. I don't have a warmer or anything, but that does the job just fine. And I've left it out running all night when I go, and it's -5 degrees outside when I go to my dark sky site. So
do you find then, kind of on that point of weather changing, that it doesn't really generally happen that you'll get predicted a clear night? Like sometimes will happen in UK, it'll say it's going to be clear right through till dawn, and then before you know it, it's raining kind of thing. Is that not so much of a...
No, I haven't had that. Not
Right.
to say it wouldn't happen, but no, I haven't had that.
It must be
I've
more
had
rare.
nights where I've driven an hour to my dark sky site and it says it's clear and it's cloudy, and I'm, hauled all my gear out to this dark sky site, sat there in the car, and it's like, clouded over.
Oh.
But then all of a sudden, it just disappears. So maybe it's an hour out, but
Right.
As
Wow.
I said, I wouldn't bother doing anything unless I knew it was going to be good. Yeah.
I think at that point it's probably worth mentioning your actual gear that you use as well. I know it's in the post, but
Yep.
you use, if you want to talk people through what you actually use and why, he has to be conscious of when he's going to set up as well.
Yeah, for sure. So at the moment, probably forever, I'll be. I went big at the start, right? I went
This is
big at
another
the.
point,
I went
yeah.
big at the start, and that was under the guidance of our mutual friend David Moulton. We,
Yep.
I started off with a Dobsonian, a go-to Dobsonian telescope, and it all started with me taking pictures through the eyepiece with my phone.
Which he's shown me, by the way, and they're actually better than my first tracked astro photos. so I'm particularly disgusted by that.
No, yeah, it's just being humble. Started off with the Dobson, and under the guidance of a very good mentor to both of us. I love Newtonians. They're the best bang for buck, fast, big aperture. You can't beat them. So a Newtonian telescope all day. So I went and got under the guidance of David, I went and spoke to a company called Sidereal Trading, located in Melbourne in Australia, who is owned and operated by Diego Colanello, who is an absolute legend of this game. Very talented astrophotographer, talented in every single way. He's absolutely brilliant, and he's been an inspiration to me as well as many other people. But anyway, I purchased a custom-built carbon fibre 10-inch 1000mm f4 Newtonian, and he said to me, initially I wanted to get an EQ8 Pro, and he said to me, listen, if you want to take good astro photos, listen to me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay. And so I ended up with an iOptron CM60 EC mount.
For anybody who doesn't know, that EC means it's an encoder.
Yeah, it's got encoders
mount.
built into it. So, it tracks very well, even without guiding. But, if you want the good pictures, you need to guide. But
Yeah.
it works well. So that's what I'm running. And for a lot of the time, I was actually using a modified full spectrum DSLR camera. And a lot of my images from my Instagram page and that I've submitted into things have been through a DSLR camera. So it came to a point where I had to decide, QHY, ZWO, mono, color, and this lad next to me persuaded me to...
Team Red.
Team Red, yeah, Team Red, baby. ZWO 2600 MC Pro, so that's what I mean. I've taken 2 images now with that, and to say I'm very impressed, and there's a lot more and better to come too. I just need the clear weather. That's all I need, and it'll come. So
I mean, I think James is probably too modest to tell you this, but he's a really driven guy with this kind of thing. So when he puts his mind to something, he's going to do it well. And I think Dave Moulton probably realised that early on with James, and knew, kind of sending him down the path that I actually myself went down, and probably most other beginners do, where you start off with really low level gear kind of thing, build your way up steadily until you find your feet with astronomy.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
The thing is like, if you're really passionate about it and you're into it and you think you're going to be in this for the long run, like, learn the hard way. It might be harder at the start. Get, or fork out the cash at the start, and the things will come. You know, it's not all about the high end gear. You know what I mean?
No.
Like there's.
Well, you proved that with that DSLR. I mean,
Yeah, well,
I'll show you on the screen, of course, some of the images, James. You can just send them across.
Thank you,
and, I'll show you. But
absolutely
you're doing some amazing work with the DSLR.
Yeah,
amazing.
Thank you.
But kind of what I was just mentioning. Like, I think Dave guided James particularly well. We're lucky that you knew him, because he knew what type of person James is early on. I think he's a decent judge of character, and mentioned that he should just go all in and start at the top, which is kind of what he did. And he's got a fantastic rig, as James, and that really was the right way for you, I would say. Very
lucky, and it goes to show you the type of community that we're in, to have someone you don't know. Like, he saw my images that I took with the Dobsonian, and he goes, "That's not with a Dobsonian."
I remember him sharing them to me as well via email.
And he's like, like, that's not possible. But he, that's the community that we're in. We're always willing to share our thoughts and give advice. And this guy right here, honestly, he's one of the best ones for it. Like, he's
thank you, mate.
He's amazing, and I've asked for help from him, and I'm sure if any of you guys need help, he'll be right there for you. So,
I will.
Yeah. So.
Well, next question then, I guess. Dave's astrophotography mentions, since you're from Australia, in the land where everything that moves want to kill you, have you ever had an encounter with any nasties while being out imaging, or found any lurking on your equipment when you had to back up or anything?
Well, yeah, I have.
I had an house spider once. Does that count?
A what?
A house spider.
How big's a house spider?
Not big, mate. I'm just joking. This big.
Oh, I've had a huntsman on my telescope that big.
Oh.
And it was actually recently, and I setting up a new software I've got. Anyway, I was homing my mount, and things weren't working for me, so I had to take the bloody telescope off, because it was getting too close to the legs when it was doing its finding zero position.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I took the bloody telescope off, sat it on a towel upright on the ground, and next thing I know, I feel this thing crawling up, and it was a bloody huntsman spider this big. I was like, and I don't like spiders. I just flicked the thing off, and bloody, my dogs were outside, and they bloody got rid of it for me. Anyway, so yeah, that answers that. But there's been another time where I've been doing some Milky Way wide field stuff, and I drove an hour and a half out into the bush, into the snowy mountains close to where I live, and I took this image of the Milky Way rising over a hut, and it's on my Instagram page if you'd like to see it. And I'm telling you, the sounds, I was in the middle of nowhere by myself, and the sounds that I heard coming out of the bush from around me were just spine tingling. And we've got a thing in Australia, it's called a yowie, which is like a Bigfoot thing. Right. And anyway, yeah, the stories I heard, they sounded just like it. So
that's not
it was a bit etchy, but
maybe you just wanted to look through its scope, mate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So we've had your favourite northern objects that you'd like to image, but Ding Dong asks what your favourite southern sky objects, especially for those with a modest setup, and why.
All right, so for a modest setup, I mean, look, the Carina Nebula it's everyone's everything. I mean, if you had it up in the north, it's your go-to thing. I mean, it's bigger, it's brighter than Orion. It's a spectacular part of the sky, that's for sure. Carina, for a modest setup, we get Orions, anything like that. But my favourite part of the sky, look, I've got a thing for galaxies. Centaurus A would be my favourite object, and I took a really nice image of that last year, and I can't wait to do it again with my new camera.
That's going to be...
Yeah. No, that Centaurus A galaxy is something pretty spectacular. I've got a couple of old school astrophotographer mentor guys. Like, oh, you've done that, but I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I want to do a 50-hour plus project on that. So Centaurus A would have to be my favourite southern object. It's just such a beautiful galaxy. So much there. So much to see.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, for anybody who's interested, that'd probably be my target that I'd want to shoot those two, really, Carina and Centaurus.
Yeah. No, Carina's amazing.
Real jewels.
Running chicken's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Bit fainter, but it's cool.
I'd love to, I don't know how well you can capture the Eagle Nebula, because that's one of those things I've always really wanted to shoot, but it's kind of obstructed for me.
I'm thinking southern, I'm thinking way south, yes. Australia is the best place for the Milky Way. Anything in the Milky Way, it is prime time imaging. So where I'm situated, it just rises right overhead. You can image something in that for 10 hours all night. No worries. Oh, the Fighting Dragons of Ara are on my to-do list properly. That's a spectacular part of the sky.
So many good times.
I know. But the Eagle Nebula, yes, I love that. I did a Eagle Nebula last year with the DSLR.
I do remember.
And I did it with a Astronomy Luminance L2 filter, and then I combined that with a L-Enhance clip in for the DSLR. I combined them together. So and I thought that turned out pretty good. But yeah, the Eagle, Lagoon, Triffid, Omega, all those, I'm talking 60, 70 degrees plus in the sky.
That high?
Oh, easy.
Wow.
Easy, mate.
My word, they barely make it across the top of the houses here for me, basically, for context.
Yeah.
But I'm off to Australia.
Right, well, you and me are going to go for an excursion.
That's it, mate. I'm more than down for that, James. More than down for that. Steve Lakes asks, as part of his question, have you imaged from the UK before? And if so, how do you find the average scene here compared with Australia? And his kind of reasoning behind that is why he expects, I imagine, Australia would have better scene is because it's less industrialised, I think, the areas where you'd be imaging.
G'day, Steve. No, mate, I haven't imaged from the UK before. Probably don't think I will. Sorry.
He's seen it now. That's it.
Oh, look. It's not that. It's just I can't get my gear here, basically.
No.
However, after the UK, I'm off to Finland, and I am hoping to get some shots of the aurora, northern lights from Rovaniemi in northern Finland. So fingers crossed I get some clear skies up there. That's going to be something for sure. What's the second part of the question?
I kind of folded it into that main part where he were asking he thinks the pollution is probably a bit more concentrated here in UK. And
yeah, probably.
I would
Look,
probably agree.
you know, when you compare
just due to the amount of cities we have close to one another in this country, whereas you were mentioning, it kind of feels weird how close everything is in the UK.
Definitely. Like, you know, I've noticed today I've done a lot of driving around the UK or England, and you know, you go 50 kilometres, if that, and you're in another major city. So in Australia, I live in Canberra, the capital city. You know, it's 3 hours to Sydney, you know, or it's 8 hours down to Melbourne. So, you know, it's and we're at an altitude. So Canberra's at 600 metres above sea level. Look, when it's clear, conditions are great. Yeah, that's good.
I think the next question, Rob's astrophotography, we're asking, is the one object that you wish was observable to him from his skies that can only be seen from UK? I think you kind of touched upon that.
Yeah, I'd definitely say, look, Andromeda would be awesome, but I could get a decent amount. Look, there's a few. Andromeda, I'd love the Cygnus loop. That would be
this Cygnus.
Yeah, sorry.
So like in the whole Cygnus, you mean
Yes.
Veil Nebula?
Yeah, the Cygnus
Ve-
Loop. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. But yeah, M81, M82 would be bloody spectacular objects to do. The galaxies are just something special. Yeah. California Nebula is pretty cool. That elephant trunk, that's cool, but look, would I trade with what I've got down home for that? No, but you get used to it, you know. I guess there's that many targets in the sky, you know, it could take you 5 years to get through everything that's worthwhile doing, so.
Yeah. I think there is, of course, more people ask questions, but that's kind of the rough gist of most of the questions. What's your favourite objects and things like that. Joachim Fjeldli, sorry if I got your name wrong there, Joachim.
Joachim, yeah.
Joachim from Norway. You were mentioning what's your favourite northern hemisphere DSO? So you've answered that, but at the same time, what's my favourite southern hemisphere DSO that I can't image?
Yeah, what is yours?
Carina, man.
Yeah?
Carina.
That's easy.
Everybody's always talking about it.
It's easy. You couldn't do it. Yeah.
I'm
But
so
it's
sad.
easy. You could take 10 subs at 5 minutes and make it into a
Yeah.
beautiful picture.
I guess it's just one of those things. Like I mentioned to you earlier, like it's probably no coincidence that we both started with Orion, that kind of thing. And all
Yeah.
these real showcase targets. You early on in your career, you really want to shoot them all, and then we find out you can't shoot all of them because of which hemisphere you're in prevents it. It kind of sticks in your craw a little bit. So yeah,
It's such a big, grand object, isn't it? Like it is, and
like a moth to a flame. I just want to shoot it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We'll have to do a target swap, James.
we can do that. We can do that. I'm sure we could sort.
You shoot Carina for me, and I'll shoot M81 and M82 again for you.
Oh, we got it. We got the same camera, so why
We
not?
do, actually,
We
yeah.
can do that.
Yeah,
And
good.
we got almost the same telescope, so why not?
I mean, one of them's slightly bigger than the other, but you know.
Just slightly, yeah.
Sorry, mate.
No, but Carina, yeah, it's magical, but you know,
Is that one you've maybe got an answer for? This about rugby exploits?
being a former loose head, good on you, Big Rob. Some rugby exploits over a pint. I've got some whiskey here, mate.
That'll do.
I've had a few pints today.
Yes.
Oh,
We
gee.
both have, mate.
Rugby exploits. Mate, I don't know.
I've put you on the spot there, James. Is that one for another day, maybe, mate?
I don't know. I don't know if it's appropriate for the screen. Yeah, no, it's, rugby's good fun. That's been a passion of mine as well. But yeah, awesomely, astro is my hobby now, and that's what I love to do. Love rugby. Go the Wallabies. No.
Go the Wallabies. Go on, mate. I'll have some of that as well. Why not? Yeah. So I think that's most of the questions, James. Is there anything else you'd like to share with people? You know, while we're here chatting.
Well, yeah, basically pretty much like, you know, we're all part of a pretty special hobby here. We choose to do this because we have a love for the sky, and it is special. It's special. It's a special community, and that's really what brings people together. You know, we've got this great hobby, and I mean, look at us for example. I've come across the other side of the planet, and it was always dead set in my mind. I got to meet you, and you know, we got together, and
Yeah.
you know, walking out here this afternoon, where you set up your gear, and we're out here chatting, having a beer, and
It's been fantastic.
you know, that's where you set up and that's where you film from. It's pretty awesome. So, you know, and as I said, this fella has been absolutely fantastic and helping me. He's got a heart of gold, and honestly, if you ever have any problems, I'm sure Luke is more than happy to accommodate any sort of questions or any help that you guys need. and I am too. If you feel so inclined, I'm happy to help you as well. You know, I've you know, relatively new to it, pretty new tills to the hobby, but
Very talented though.
but it's what you love. You know, you love doing it and you give it your all. You know, and that's what it's about. And but enjoy the night sky. If anything, enjoy the sky, enjoy the stars.
Even like we're doing now, mate.
Yeah,
Just
we
looking.
can. Yeah, I can see
Nice.
the Big Dipper, and
It's light polluted, but it's still nice to be out here.
doesn't matter. You know, like it's just it's special. It's a special hobby, and you know what? And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. To be honest, it's not easy, but if it was, everyone would be doing it. So you know,
It
you're
lose
part.
that specialness, yeah.
Yeah, we're all part of a special club here, and I encourage you all to just keep going at it, and you know, make the most of it. You know, as long as you're happy at the end with your images, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Just
Absolutely agree with that, mate.
yeah,
If you're happy with your images, you're doing everything right
Yeah.
already. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, you could show people your shots and whatever, and they'll go, "Oh, that's amazing," but you know, they'll never know. They'll never know what you've gone through to get to that point, that final point. And yeah, you know, there's always, you know, could do better on something or whatever, but you know, that's all part of the game. That's all part of the learning, and you know, as I said, it's not easy.
No,
It's not easy. So
I think that's a pretty damn nice message to leave on. Yeah, I really couldn't say it better myself. He's an articulate fellow, is our James. He is. He is. Yeah, I think, like you mentioned though, the point about the community in astrophotography. For me as well, of course, starting YouTube, it's just been a dream come true. Really, I've always wanted to share what I was doing, but really always kind of lacked the confidence to just get in front of a camera and do so.
mate, this is my first time.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Whereas now it's easy. It's easy, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to do it and share it with people who want to share it with me. You know, it's really fantastic, and for such a solitary kind of hobby, the people are anything but. In general, it seems like everybody's happy to help.
Yeah,
and
it is
have to go out of the way, and
You're right. Yeah.
yeah,
There is a lot to learn. And you know, with it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming.
is.
It's overwhelming, isn't
It
it?
is.
Like, you know, like you bloody got to set up all this software and, you know, connect it. It's like, oh gosh, bloody, you know. But if you get everyone, I don't know how the people that came up with this stuff got through it, because honestly, I'd be I don't know,
Yeah.
playing rugby again or something. I don't know, you know. So, but you know, it's a great community. It takes patience. It takes time. But if you have those things, and if you have the commitment, you know, it's well worth it. And you know, full credit to you, mate. You know, as I said,
thank you.
you know, I've watched you. You know, we've become mates, and to be here next year, it's a real pleasure and an honor to be here next year. So yeah.
Oh, mate, it's too. You can probably tell by this on camera. I'm not not very good at accepting compliments.
But you should be, because you're such a good lad. Yeah,
Mate, thank you.
Nah, it's
Honestly.
good. Nah, it's awesome. But
Well, I think unless you have anything to add, James, that's probably a good half an hour or something. I really don't know how long this has gone on,
Yeah.
so
it's been easy. It's been
Yeah.
been good fun, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I certainly have.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been totally different.
It's been a good evening.
back and forth.
There's been a lot of evening before this.
Yes, there has.
Before this filming, so you know.
We've been mildly greased up before this, haven't we,
I've,
mate? Yeah.
I've actually
Yeah.
managed to get a nice souvenir
Yes.
cap from Luke's grandfather.
Yeah.
Bless him. And I'll be
Fantastic.
taking that back home to Australia, and I'll be wearing it.
Suits him. Suits him.
So yeah,
Brilliant. Well,
I'm part of the Piggy Blinders. Yeah.
you are, mate, with that. Tommy Shelby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, James, I think that's about everything. And until next time, guys, I think I'll just leave it there. And as always, from both of us,
thank you very much indeed for watching and listening to us go on for a bit. It's been great fun, and I hope you've enjoyed. So from me and from James, thank you very much for watching, and until next time,
guys.
clear skies.
Pleasure, mate.
What are they,
Thank
mate?
you, mate.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.